Radha Swami. Précis writing. The English word is pronounced précis. It is one of the most important components of writing skills. It is just opposite the expansion. You know expansion? Expansion is the art of saying or expressing minimum in maximum words, right? So, précis is just opposite of the expansion. It enables a learner perfect in the art of summarizing the long speech or passage. In fact, it is the essence of writing, like the scent of a flower. One can get mastery over the art of précis writing only by the continuous practice. You know, practice makes one perfect. It should be remembered that the précis is always 1/3 of the original text. Okay? Now, the next is the origin of précis. The English word précis is derived from Latin word. You know, Latin is one of the classical European languages. So, the English word précis is derived from Latin word praesium. The English word, the Latin word praesium. You know, Latin resembles Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, the words are ma ending, that is makarant, that is at the end of the words there is ma sound. Similarly, in Latin there are also ma sound at the end of the words. Presium. The meaning of presium is to cut short or to reduce. The English word presi is derived from Latin word presium. The meaning is to cut short or to reduce. And in English, the meaning is precise or concise. English meaning is precise or concise. Right? So, on the basis of meaning, it may be concluded that presi is something that is related with reducing or to cut short. क्लियर? तो इस प्रकार से ये क्लियर है कि प्रेसी में क्या है, संक्षिप्त करना है, छोटा करना है. राइट? So, after the origin of presi, the next step is the definitions. There are many definitions of presi, but some important definitions are in this way. The art of saying or expressing maximum in minimum words is called presi. The art of saying or expressing maximum words in minimum words is called presi. Clear? It can also be defined an abridged statement is called presi. An abridged statement is called précis. Right? Next definition. The précis is a restatement in shortened form of the main ideas, points, etc. of long speech or passage. The précis is a restatement in shortened form of the main ideas, points, etc. of speech or of a speech or a passage. The précis is a restatement in shortened form of the main ideas, points, etc. of a speech or a passage. Right? We can also define the précis is a gist of a passage in as few words as possible. Précis is a gist of a passage. In as few words as possible. Précis is a gist of a passage in as few words as possible. Right? The next definition. Précis is a condensed piece of writing. Précis is a condensed piece of writing. It may also be defined. Précis is a straightforward statement of the bare fact. Précis is a straightforward statement of the bare fact. Right? After the definition, it is clear that the brevity is the soul of the précis writing. But it should be remembered that the brevity should not be ridiculous at the cost of sense and clarity. Please have a glance on an example. देखिएगा example. Once a railway inspector teaching the need of brevity said to his line overseer, "Don't give me such wordy reports in future. Just put down the condition of the track as you find it." और साफी रेलवे इंस्पेक्टर ने कहा उससे, अपने लाइन ओवरसीयर से, कि डोंट गिव मी सच बॉडी रिपोर्ट्स इन फ्यूचर, जस्ट पुट डाउन द कंडीशन ऑफ द ट्रैक एज यू फाइंड इट. Later, a few days, the line was very badly flooded, and now the overseer drafted his report in a new style. Where the railway was the river edge, where the railway was the river edge, now this sort of brevity is nothing but nonsense, as it makes less of sense but more of nonsense. ठीक है, तो ब्रेविटी होनी चाहिए, मगर उसमें सेंस और क्लैरिटी के साथ कोई कंप्रोमाइज नहीं होना चाहिए। चलिए, now thank you. Well, so the important points that must be remembered during the drafting of a précis. Number one should read the passage carefully at least twice or thrice in order to understand it fully. One should read the passage carefully at least twice or thrice in order to understand it fully. पूर्ण रूप से समझने के लिए Number 2, one should underline the most important ideas and then summarize the chief points. One should underline the most important ideas. one should underline the most important ideas and then summarize the chief points. One should read, underline the most important ideas and then summarize the chief points. One should make a brief continuous draft of the main points, leaving out unimportant and irrelevant things or material. One should make a brief draft of the main points and should leave unimportant and irrelevant things or material. An ideal précis is exactly 1/3 of the original passage. It is better to count the words. An ideal précis is always 1/3 of the original passage. It is better to count the word. तो précis हमेशा 1/3 है. précis. Next point, it should be in one's own words as far as possible. It should not be, sorry, it should be in one's own words as far as possible. It should not be copied from the original passage or text. So, it should be in one's own words as far as possible. Next, it should not contain any example, figures of speech or quotation. It should not be contain any examples, figures of speech और quotation. So प्रेसी में कोई भी एग्जाम्पल, कोटेशन और फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच का यूज नहीं होता है. Next point, the précis should always be written in the third person, in direct speech and in the past tense. The précis should always be written in the third person, that is in indirect speech and past tense. ठीक है, प्रेसी राइटिंग में थर्ड पर्सन का यूज किया जाता है. Next, one should suggest a suitable title to one's précis. One should suggest a suitable title to one's précis. तो प्रेसी का टाइटल भी देना चाहिए। नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, one's opinion should not be given. One should not give one's opinion. और one should not give one's opinion. तो हमें अपनी ओपिनियन नहीं देनी है। One should not criticize the contents of the passage. One should not criticize the contents of the passage. पैसेज की हमें क्रिटिसाइज भी नहीं करना है। At last, we should be very careful of avoiding grammatical errors, spellings and punctuation mistakes. One should be very careful. One should be very careful of avoiding grammatical errors, spellings and punctuation mistakes. One should be very careful of avoiding grammatical errors, spellings and punctuation mistakes. So, these are some good points that must be remembered during the drafting of the Précis writing. Okay? Any problem? Now some examples of Précis writing. ये प्रेसी राइटिंग के कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, आपके नोट्स में दिए हुए हैं, देखिए। one example. Agra, one of the most magnificent cities of the East, stands at the river Yamuna and built by the Emperor Akbar. The central feature is the fort. The magnificent structure containing the palaces and the triumphs of the Indian architecture. The Pearl Mosque, but the gem is that the traveler wants to see above all others is the Taj Mahal, built by Shah Jahan, grandson of Akbar, as a memorial to his wife. ये आपका एक एग्जाम्पल के बतौर ये पैसेज है. नाउ हाउ टू ड्राफ्ट इट्स प्रेसी. अर्थ की प्रेसी कैसे बनानी है, तो देखिए, आगरा स्टैंड्स एट द रिवर यमुना. Besides fort, there are grand historical buildings and other worth-seeing monuments, but Taj Mahal surpasses of all of them in beauty and grandeur. ये आपकी प्रेसी है इस पैसेज की. So प्रेसी must be always 1/3 of the original passage, right? तो ये नोट्स हैं. नोट्स में आपके कई स्पेसिमेन दी हुई हैं, एग्जाम्पल दिए हुए हैं प्रेसी राइटिंग के, तो आप इन्हें देखिएगा. ठीक है, यू कैन प्रैक्टिस them. Is there any problem? I hope everyone would have followed. Today we have completed our course. 5 minutes पूरी हो गई आपकी, पूरा कोर्स हो गया. क्वेश्चन बैंक आपके पास है, क्वेश्चन बैंक का सॉल्यूशन भी आपके पास है. सो गो थोरोली थ्रू देम. आई थिंक नोट्स आर ऑल्सो गिवन यू. आप सभी के पास नोट्स हैं, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होनी चाहिए. DHA CA आप लोगों के पास आ चुके हैं और आपने भेज भी दिए होंगे. CT2, that is class test 2, is scheduled from 14th December. तो आपका CT2 जो है वो 14 दिसंबर से आपका शेड्यूल्ड है. तो मेरी राय में आपको कोई किसी तरह की परेशानी नहीं होनी चाहिए. फिर भी अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, कांटेक्ट नंबर है 9219843646. इस नंबर पे आप कांटेक्ट कर लीजिए अगर आपको कोई किसी तरह की प्रॉब्लम आती है. ठीक है बेटा. ओके, All the best, Radha Swami.